Okay, good evening, everyone. Today is the 29th of October 2025. This is our third online presentation given by Dr. Chetana Kripalu, who is the founder and CEO of the Angel Wing LLC. She has wonderfully put together this fantastic presentation for us that will go on every month at the end of each month, the last Wednesday of each month, on the joy of wellness, creating a vibrant life. Today's subject is one of the pillars, one of the seven key pillars, and that is going to be on movement, exercise, and related topics. Right. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Chetna Kripalu, and you may begin.
Thank you. Thank you, Sachin. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Um, so everybody knows, we call it movement because I don't want to call it exercise. Whenever we think about the word exercise, everybody kind of um, doesn't, it's like more, it sends a message of being onerous. Oh my God, I have to exercise. So like that. But I think we want to think of movement in a whole new way. That's why we call it joy of wellness. We don't want to be preventing illness. Of course, it happens automatically, but how do you live a good life, joyful life, right? So it's very essential, and movement is a huge and essential part of it. So again, the movement mandate, what does it mean? Engage in regular activity to what does it do when you move, right? To strengthen your body, boost your brain. And because of boosting your brain and the body, believe it or not, it actually enhances your resilience. So next slide. So again, our bodies are, is functioning and is designed for motion. It's supposed to move. It's not supposed to be just sitting and doing, nothing for long periods of time, especially nowadays, because of screen time and people working from home, even if they're working in offices, they're sitting a lot. In those days, believe it or not, they used to actually have been before the chairs were invented or any furniture for that matter. People actually, if they sat, they would squat, and that itself had so many benefits. And maybe sat on the ground, but usually they sat very rarely and they moved a lot. They really, really walked miles and miles and miles. So it's not just about weight loss, muscle building, all that, but just keeping the body vibrant. The three pillars of the of them usually is again strength, brain health, same thing like we said, emotion resilience in the previous slide. Next slide. Okay. So what does it mean? How does it strengthen your body? We know that when you regularly, actively participate in exercise, you're actually signaling your body from the muscle types, each of the muscle types, to build to kind of muscle building, bones strengthen. Every organ in the body is affected, especially the heart, the lungs, the brain, and it allows every part of the body to actually function in alignment. So that's the whole idea about what does it mean to strengthen your body. Next slide. Yeah, and again, what does stronger mean? Like I said, every part of the body, every muscular system, musculoskeletal system, which increases muscle mass, improves your bone density. Bone and muscle, how do you do the bone density part? It's very difficult to understand, right? How does it do that? The muscle, of course, because when you move, the muscles are activated and then increases or improves circulation. But the muscle and bone go together. So when you increase the muscle mass or increase muscle strength, it automatically increases the bone strength too. So again, like we said before, cardiovascular health, improves circulation, lowers blood pressure, and then of course the metabolic health, like your endocrine system, which is um, mainly how we prevent diabetes. It helps improve insulin sensitivity. So improving insulin sensitivity means what? Blood sugar, good blood sugar control, and you're utilizing more of your muscles to release the insulin. When you don't do that, it just increases the insulin in the body and it's not being utilized. And that's how people develop insulin resistance, which is diabetes. pre-diabetes, diabetes. And then, of course, the joints, they get more lubricated, increases the range of motion, and, depending on what you do as for exercise. Next slide, please. Yeah, and this is very important to understand that we want to understand how brain health works. So this is, as you move your body, we know that everything is connected to the brain, right? So it's almost like a fertilizer for brain cells, promoting growth and connectivity, and then not to mention mental health benefits. I'm sure everybody's experimented when you're not doing too well mentally, you're irritated, you're frustrated, you're angry, everybody says go take a walk. Why do they say that? That's because the walk and helps change your whole, it's a mental shift by releasing certain good hormones in the brain, or which make you more positive. And nothing changed, right? Sometimes you go for a walk or a run and you come back and you get like this whole mind shift. And how does that happen? Nothing changed, but your outlook changed. So that's the benefit of walking, running, of any of these movement or exercise. Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is important. What happens, again, like I said, how does the improved mood work? It boosts the dopamine. Everybody knows about dopamine, right? Dopamine is something which makes, it's a pleasure hormone, where it feels great. Like, everything is dopamine based. Your exercise, of course, the negative effects of drugs and alcohol and other stuff too, but screen time, scrolling, things like that. But we're talking about good kind of dopamine boost, which is the exercise. So you can get that from this. And again, the other good hormones are the serotonins and endorphins. So that, what does it do? So it enhances focus, increased blood flow, improves clarity and decision making. So the memory also is affected. So everybody's heard of neuroplasticity, right? So how does that happen? It helps with creating new nerve cells, neurons in the brain, so that that improves the memory, and that's how you can prevent dementia in long term, as you can call it, as cognitive decline. Cognitive decline is same thing, similar to preventing dementia as the extreme form. Cognitive means just the thinking capacity or analyzing capacity and things like that. It improves that. So that's why this is a huge benefit from that aspect. Next slide, please. And then, yes, because your body and mind are in good shape, then obviously it also helps you deal with stress differently. And this is how, because it reduces your adrenaline, which is the fight or flight hormone, and cortisol. Nowadays, you'll see that because of whatever stress people are facing, all kinds of stress, financial stress, home stress, relationship stress. It could be anything. So that helps when you exercise, deal with it very differently, and it keeps these hormones in check. Otherwise, cortisol is good for us. Cortisol is a hormone which actually is secreted in the morning to make you go, go, go. But then when it's too much in the body, it cannot stay that way. And then it starts going down after a while. And that's how people experience chronic fatigue, just tired all the time, because then they don't have enough cortisol to make decisions, to make the brain function better, and other things. So again, it also builds confidence through discipline and consistency. So this is why we want to make sure that we do some kind of exercise in our lives. Next slide. Okay, so this is very essential. Oh, um, yeah, again, same thing. How do you is the ability? So, what is the power of movement? I think this is very important. Like we discussed about the physical, mental well-being. So, how do you do it? We want to make sure that we have a good habit or a good discipline, or a good system to do this. It could be anything. It could be, ideally, of course, when you get up in the morning, you want to do your basic stuff like brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, whatever. But it's ideally to get it out of the way. It's better to do in the morning, even for other reasons, because of the way the body functions. But If you cannot do it, then it's okay because everybody's busy. Life is, just busy. So, but designate a time for that movement, whatever that is, for structured exercise. So it helps the body to stay strong, flexible, energetic. But then we'll talk more about other kinds of movement during the day, which is also important. Next slide, please. So, what is a good weekly workout? This is just more of evidence based from a scientific purpose. It's 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity, basically like brisk walking or cycling or running, or 75 minutes of vigorous activity like HIIT. What is HIIT? HIIT is like high intensity workout, which is like really fast. And that's obviously you need less number of minutes per week. And 2 or more days for resistance training for all major muscle groups. And what does that mean? That means twice a week you want to do some weights or some kind of resistance training. It could be any form. There's nowadays different kinds of resistance training where you do floor exercises. You use your own body to work for these resistance training classes. So I think that's what we're talking about. Or you could do simply design a workout for yourself, which you can do at home. You don't have to go somewhere else. But if you like, uh, or you want to go outside to a gym where they teach you this, um, then please go ahead and do that because there's so much benefit to that, to a structured thing. Sometimes people like because when you get to a point, to a place, you do better, and then of course you make friends. There's additional, and working out in a group is beneficial. So even though those actually help. Next slide, please. Yeah, so that's one part of it. The other things which you want to keep in mind is flexibility and other kinds of workouts, like, for example, yoga, Pilates, any kind of stretching exercise to improve flexibility, balance, and posture. So that is again 2 sessions per week. And you can incorporate it, if, for example, if you're walking one day, then do maybe, yoga the next day and add yoga and some other, workout with it, like the resistance training. And if yoga itself gives you, because yoga does and Pilates does the resistance training, then there you go, it's beneficial. But you do want to have something of that sort, kind of designed for yourself, because again, everything is about habit. If the mind comes in the way, the more you go against your mind saying don't do it or gives excuses, then it builds a new habit. So design a time. It's essential because the brain is such that, or your mind connects everything to the time. So if you start doing it, like say 8 a.m. in the morning, then every day you do it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then the mind knows that at this time you're going to do this exercise. And then it becomes a habit. It still might be hard to go out and do it, but at least it improves with time. So that's how you get this going. Next slide, please. Yes. So again, for the whole body, these are the things, including exercises targeting major muscle groups, legs, squats and lunges, upper body push-ups, rows, shoulder presses. These are all, I usually, if one wants to do it separately, it's fine. But they just incorporate it in, like we said, the ones before, in classes or workout, kind of like a regimen where it's easy to do this. You can even select this if you want. One day you can do legs, the other day you can do upper body, the next day you can do abs, things like that. Because I think that works more than doing everything every day. Then it becomes onerous and then people give up. So we don't want that. Next slide. Yeah. So this is the most important thing in my life that I've seen. People go to gyms, people love to do exercises, everything. But I think you have to get some time outdoors. And that's why I usually, in the time frame, I like to incorporate walking and, and you can do run if you like that in fresh air outdoors, even in extreme weathers. You can always bundle up in the winter. You just have to get out there because there's magic out there. One reason for that is, when you're indoors, especially in the winter months, the mind the frequency. This is very important, which I learned in my life, in my experience. The brain is kind of scrambled, believe, and because we're looking at screen time, we're looking at the TV, we are looking at phones, everything. But when you go out, there is certain frequency there outside. You actually the match your frequency to the mind frequency to the outdoors and in fresh air, and that's how you start feeling better. So that's the magic of being out there and the nature. So it's the high, you're kind of equating your frequency to the higher frequency as such, if you can call it. And I think that's the most important thing, benefit of going. So of course, if you can plan a run or whatever you want outside, or like even not in the winter months, but in general, the yoga outside or anything like that, like putting a mat in the fall. I think it's double benefits because you're already outside and you're doing this, or maybe in your deck at the back, or you have a porch. That's really really helpful, and you can do two things at the same time. Um, Next slide. So again, the most important thing is, even though we spoke of all these different kinds of workouts and stuff like that, I feel that you want to choose workouts because you're looking forward to it most of the time. Of course, it can't happen every day, but so even things like biking, swimming, and I think dancing is amazing. There's so many workouts where like Zumba and jazzercise and many more, which actually have a rhythm. You dance to it, and you get double benefit. So you enjoy your workout. So you look forward to this class, and you get the benefits of it. Even dancing, freestyle dancing is so useful for you because you're letting go of all the stresses you're carrying in every muscle of your body. So when you let go of it, that's why you come out of feeling great. It's of course the brain health and everything, but that's one of the reasons. It strengthens the bones. It also releases all the stresses which is accumulated in your muscle groups. So and sometimes pair it, your workouts with something you enjoy, a good podcast or something funny. I wouldn't want people to watch TV, honestly, because again, it increases screen time. Something positive, good music, and something motivating, some kind of podcast which will make you, kind of motivate you in the long run, or even for the day. Next slide. Yeah, so that's what. So even like I said before, like yoga classes, group classes, if you can make more friends, if you like that kind of an environment, you could do that. Nowadays, there's so many online stuff. I do online yoga. I love it. Um, and then you have trackers where you can keep a track of your progress. And it's important, of course, to be consistent. Again, everything is about consistency. So sometimes you may not be able to do workouts every day. Try and see if you can do 3 days a week. And then if you cannot, then make it up on the weekends so that you get some kind of exercise in a week. Or you can keep a number of hours in a week. I'm going to do these many hours in the week or these many miles in a week. So that would help you kind of tailor it. It depends on the person. Some people are good and consistent if they have a certain number of miles every day, every a certain time, everything. But some people have just like a broad, like I was telling you, number of miles per week. So you are doing a little bit in during the weekdays because you don't have time, you're working, you're busy, and then you make it up during the weekends. And how you do it? Like I said, if somebody wants to play a sport like basketball or volleyball, and golfing, all these are fun sport events, because that will help. Of course, summer you can do a lot in the water, like canoeing, kayaking, everything, so that you look forward to it, and but you're active, you're really doing a lot. So in winter you can choose sometimes sports which are winter ones, like skiing and whatever, indoor skating and stuff like that. So even those help. So I think that now they have this workouts on Peloton, which is amazing. Some people are hooked to it. So you have people, virtual, friends who guide you through that. You can visualize. It's kind of like a virtual reality where you go through, these parks and forests and valleys and everything. So that's also enjoyable. So we want to find something to do. Next slide. Yes. So the other ones, which we spoke about yoga, but there's other things like qigong, tai chi. These are all different. These are little slow exercises, and while people think it's more for elderly and seniors, not necessarily. It's a very beautiful way of actually strengthening your body for the mind. It's more of balance. It's more of flow, and it's very very good, and it's apparently supposed to be helpful for slow aging, so it really helps you and keeps you stronger for a longer period of time. Pranayama is breath and vitality. There's so much power to breath work. You can do a simple series which only will take you 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I think we've gone through some of these in our Angelink, presentations on Mondays. I'm going to come with a series from next year to help understand and finally work with a schedule, like a 10-minute one, 15-minute one, so everybody can follow at some point. Because this is hugely helpful. Because as you do this, it's your whole being is benefits from that. Qigong is same thing. These are all energy based movements. So these, I just want people to know at least what these are, and if you want to incorporate these, I do pranayama pretty much regularly, as regular. Lately it's not been like that, but I did do that every morning. I at least do it twice a week in my yoga class. Next slide. Yes. So again, this is very important. As you get older, you have joint aches, you may not have balance and stuff like that. So you can still do things. For example, chair yoga is very popular now, and it's very, very beneficial. You can do a lot of exercises in chair yoga. It really strengthens your lower body, upper body, everything. And then, of course, people who have osteoarthritis, joint pains, like I was telling you, that you can do water aerobics, because you can definitely do a lot of exercises in water. They even have physical therapy places which they have water aerobics. Some of the Y has it. And then, of course, gentle walking, even if you have to use a walker, it doesn't matter. Even inside the house, even that's helpful. Again, for handicapped, like I said, seated upper body works out with weights and bands. You could do definitely, and lower body is more swinging, things like that. So, whatever your situation is, you can always find something to do. And that's the key. Do not go any single day without some kind of movement. That's what we call it, movement. I don't call it exercise. Next slide. Yeah. Again, this is very important in today's, work days, where you're sitting all the time. So you have to take breaks every hour. You want to get up. You want to do something for 30, 60 minutes. They have these steppers you can use. They have trampolines. You can jump on. You can climb up and down the stairs, or at least walk around for and time yourself. If you're walking, then maybe 5 minutes, and you have to just literally put an alarm in your phones where you can do it. Breath work for 30 seconds, like deep breaths, because you realign your mind. Sorry, you realign your mind, and then 30 to 60, 30 to like seconds or 60 seconds, you can just do a quick workout, like right there and then and there. The other thing is, if you most people have that now, but it's beneficial to have sitting and standing desk. You have to make sure you stand every so often, so that your muscles, people who sit for a long period of time, they all get sciatica, because there is a long nerve which goes from the back and kind of goes in around the buttocks into the leg all the way down. So the more you sit, it presses on this nerve, and people start getting aches in the leg and the whole leg. And so it's really bad for some people. Um, so that's why you want to make sure that you are doing everything possible for not sitting for too long. Next slide.
Chetna, do you see that? Midday and afternoon breaks?
Yeah. So again, this is important. Again, people who are in the office, It's a good idea maybe during lunch break, or quick small breaks to literally take a 10-minute walk, or do some quick resistance exercises with bands or weights or things like that. Um, and this also helps you kind of wake up, especially in the afternoons, when you have that slump and you're sleepy, you don't want to move, instead of coffee, or you can do both. So it gives you these bursts of activity and doesn't, make you tired. So I think this is also important. Next slide. Yeah, I really would tell people to do this. It's really important. Having a timing is very important for good health. I think early dinners and walking after dinner, even if it's a 10-20 minute workout, walk, it doesn't have to be too much. You should have, or you should have digested all your food before you go to sleep. So that's so important. And then yes, for people who are diabetic, it really helps with the sugar control. And then not to mention, of course, better sleep when you're on a lighter stomach. So this can be something which you can easily incorporate on a daily basis, or just walk around in your house at least, even if it's too cold or you don't want to go out, but time it if you want. So even a 10-minute, 15-minute, just walk around and make sure that you are walking after dinner. Dinner has to be light. This is again something you can combine, as we said before, intermittently, maybe twice a week. You don't want to do it every day. It just boosts your metabolism and endurance. Next slide. Again, we said this already. Free dancing, joyful moments, hula hooping, hiking, all kinds of stuff. We did this too, micro movements. The only thing, yeah, focus on movement as a form of mindfulness to make sure that you are you're focusing on whatever you're doing. You don't want to escape from it. Um, then you want to also have not exercise too much. I don't think that's the problem for most of people. But if it is, then you need to get days of rest in between. So where you don't do much and just like gentle stretching or light walking. Yeah, so integration is important so you can nurture your whole mind, body, spirit, like we talked about. Next slide. Yeah, so this is very important. Again, we come to the end of the session. Um, I don't want people to overthink it, but just have it always in the back of the mind that, develop some kind of a regimen, and just follow it. And don't feel guilty because you can always make it up. That's all in a week. That's why you want to do, if you want, a week's plan so that you can always make up at the end of the week, if you're not able to do it some of the days because of the schedules. Yeah, this is so important. Consistency is very important. 10-minute walk daily, can be helpful. Something is helpful. Find out what you enjoy. Choose the activities you love. Then schedule it like we're talking about. And make sure that you tell in your mind that you're not going to change it as much as possible. And whatever that is, but put it in writing so you follow it. And then combine everything like we talked about, the cardio strength and flexibility. This is the important part, the last slide. So, movement is medicine, regular activity strengthens the body and mind. Combine cardio resistance and flexibility for complete fitness. Enjoy movements like the dance, the walk, or play to stay consistent. Integrate like yoga, tai chi, and pranayam. The also reason to integrate and mix it up is just to keep it fun. Otherwise, it's boring to do the same thing, and that's why people give up. And then, of course, even small, frequent movements throughout the day has a big impact. We don't think it does, it does. That's why we want to keep moving. We don't want to sit for long. Movement supports emotional balance, resilience, and long term vitality. That's the benefit, like we went through before. And going out of the fresh air is so important to feel good. Again, the goal, move for the love of moving, not perfection, just presence. So we're at the end of our session. We open it up to question answers, questions.